everyone, welcome back. It's Damsels After Dark. I'm Crystal.
And I'm Kristen.
And we're your favorite book, podcast, show, YouTube channel, everything. Name it all. We're here. We're back in action, live.
God knows how long that'll be before we're back right now.
Yeah, I know it's been like 40 days since our last YouTube upload.
Oh,
but Kristen and I have been sick. We've been trading sicknesses like Pokemon. We've been evolving them and sending them back to each other.
We're catching as many as we can.
Yeah, it's been a whole month of sickness. I don't know. I think this is the first chunk of time that it's been this bad as far as like having kids and then them just recycling it and giving it around and then trading it back. It's fucking great.
We did this last year too, and we missed a chunk of time last year.
Yeah.
We were on the same time filming. We didn't come back until like, I don't know, sometime in December. We came like in 2 weeks and then we disappeared again.
Yeah.
I was like, we got sick again.
I don't know what to say, guys. I don't know. I think that last week I was feeling better. It was my fault last week because of my voice. So if you hear me clearing my throat often, or if my voice gives out a little bit, that's why. Because last week I could barely talk.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah, I was like, I could do it, but I don't think people want to hear my voice the entire time. Yeah, it was bad.
I'm like, whoa, yeah, we should have filmed.
Yeah, no, nobody wants to hear that for like 45 minutes straight. But so, just to sort of kind of recap, we finished Gleam.
Yes,
Gleam, which was book 3.
Yeah.
Was the last one that we did. So this one will be recapping Glow, and I'm real excited to get back into it. Kristen and I are also winging it just a little bit.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since we read these books because we were on a good pace.
We were, and then like we unexpectedly got sick, and then we were just like, well, we can't film. And then as time went on, I'm just like, well, I don't want to reread this book. I took notes, but like we're just really winging this.
Yeah, and Kristen's read like 500 books now in between the last book.
Yeah, I've read quite a few books. I have no idea what this one's about. I'm just gonna go down my notes.
Yeah, yep.
Thankfully, we read this 2-3 times, something around there. So it'll come back to me as we talk about it. I'm sure, because my favorite parts, I definitely remember.
Yeah.
In the back of my mind. So
Yeah,
they'll come out.
The good thing about the notes. Yeah, so, bear with us. We're still recovering and then also still remembering. But yeah, without further ado, let's jump into it.
As you guys know, if you've been following along with us in the previous books, this is a dark fantasy, so there's definitely some trigger warnings. I'm not going to list them all, but there's death, violence, mature language, sexually explicit stuff. Of course, that's what we like, though. All the good things are wrapped up in a trigger warning. But some people call it the menu of books.
Yes.
I like card.
Yeah.
Start picking
I don't
things.
want this one and this one.
But yeah, so it's a dark fantasy, romantasy book, and it is, it's supposed to be based off Midas, but obviously he's gone now.
Yeah,
so,
I think if you followed our last, we kind of said that that was sort of the end of the Midas retelling section, and now this is an all Auren story moving forward.
Yeah. Auren, Slade, and a few other people. And this one, a few more POVs get introduced into this. I cannot remember which ones from last book to this book, but I think there's definitely a couple new ones.
Yeah, I think it's Oz
and Rissa?
Rissa? I don't know. I say Rissa.
Close enough.
Yeah, I don't know. We just making it up on our own.
But this is book 4 out of 6, and all of them are released, so it is a finished book series.
Just recently, too. She, I think, released this one in October.
August. Yeah.
Was it August?
End of August. We were supposed to be right on time. Right on time with it. But as you guys just heard, we were falling behind. So, yeah, it is finished. It's completed. And I would say if you read it right around, I think there's that soundtrack. There's a girl, I forget her name.
Yes, she did. We'll link down below, but she did do a soundtrack for the book.
Definitely read it with the soundtrack, because that soundtrack is beautifully done. I've listened to a few more since the last time I mentioned it, and I just love her. She's doing more for other books too, by the way.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna start paying attention to her so I can start listening to her. As it would be so cool if they put that like in the background of an audiobook as well.
Ooh,
I know,
just, like,
right?
soft.
Yeah, maybe
subtle.
very soft in the back.
Yeah.
I would love that, but.
Well, if you're new to our show, we basically do our reviews as we start off with a summary, and then we go to our individual ratings then we do a Goodreads rating, and then after that we'll do a spoiler announcement, and then we're gonna do all of our spoilers, our best parts, our hated parts, things we just want to chit chat about. Yeah. So, yep. If you're down for that, stay tuned, and we'll do the summary.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this because I don't remember the book.
So last time we end book 3 with Midas dying, which was just.
Oh, was that the last book?
That was the last book.
Oh, my favorite part.
Yeah, mine too. And that's when Auren, melts him up against the wall, gives him the kiss.
My favorite.
We get her POV of that. We get Slade's POV of that, which was just masterful.
Brilliant. It was brilliant.
And then we start this book with another POV, with Kayla's point of POV of this.
She is the new, technically the newer
POV
in this book. Yeah, I can't stand her, FYI. We're just going to throw that in there. I can't stand her. Which isn't anything new because we mentioned that in the last book.
Yeah.
So, first I'd like to add, please don't, skip all of these books and then just listen to this now. Go back to the other reviews that we did so that there's no spoilers, because this definitely is going to be a spoiler for all the other books.
Yeah, so, especially 4. Yeah. Just gave away 4 ending.
So there definitely is going to be a lot of spoilers. We can't really discuss this book without all those spoilers.
Yeah.
So.
True. So we end book 4 with her dying, start book 2 with Kayla's POV, and then essentially, we learn right off the bat in the beginning of this one that people have witnessed Auren have powers, and so now the rumor mill is immediately spinning. Where did she get these powers? Are these her powers? Is the power, which I love that they did this, is her power the ability to steal powers?
Yes. which wouldn't seem too far off, because they were starting to see thinking that she's trying to take the king's powers, even King Rot. They think that she's just bouncing from one king to the next to steal their powers. I mean, that's a really good spin.
I do. I do think that too. I think that's a great spin. And the fact that even though we're having Kayla's POV, we do know that Ravender obviously takes her and leaves. He takes Auren and he's pieced out. So now there's the fear of, oh my god, now she's gonna take Rot's power, who is arguably the most powerful out of of the royals. And
she right now has a Rot in her because King Rot had placed Rot in her to stop her from continuing the madness of falling deeper and deeper into the power hole of her gold. She's became her beast gold, her gold beast. Beast gold? Gold beast? Whatever. She's turning into something other than what she can't really hold consciousness to who she is anymore. She's just become this unyielding power.
Yeah.
And it's scary. Even Slade Rot is terrified of what's happening.
Because this is the first that she's ever experienced of it. She's always sort of felt something, but this is the first time that it's actually kind of grabbed the reins.
At night, too.
At night.
She's only been able to do it during the day, but now she's calling back power that she's put into the castle. So this isn't her taking gold from herself and putting it out there. It's her ripping gold from things that has already been...
gilded.
Yeah.
Which is the entire... a good chunk of the castle, because we had her working on this for the weeks leading up to...
Because this is not Midas's castle. This is the castle from... Fourth Kingdom?
Fourth Kingdom?
Yeah, and so they were gilding it so he could show his might, his power. And now she's taking it all back and throwing it at them. Melting walls and stuff like that was the last part of the book. So it's pretty cool now that she has this ability to do something even at night versus only being able to control it at day.
Yeah.
So this is a different twist to her.
And also we left book 4 with him announcing his engagement to Kayla. So now there's this other sort of element to at least Queen Kayla's story, is that now she was going to be betrothed and be head of this kingdom, as well as her second kingdom, as well as his 6th kingdom. So,
and he's got a baby on the way.
And he's got a baby on the way from his random saddle.
Yeah.
He was going through it.
That was pretty funny. I was loving that. He was experienced the trials and turmoils of all the bullshit that he put.
That he did, yeah. No,
he put out there.
Refused to accept any responsibility. He blamed all the women for it.
Yeah, he did.
So
fucking hilarious.
Essentially, what happens there sets the stage for everything that's happening here. So obviously, Auren has killed a king. She has some weird power everybody's freaked out about. So the main driver for this is sort of the rest of the kingdoms coming together to sort of call her to
answer for what happened.
Yes.
Yeah, because they believe that Auren not only killed King Midas, they also believe that she did something to King Rot to create the murder, or start the murder, or what did he? They framed him for the murder of the
kid, the son.
The son.
Yeah.
So they want them to answer for all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like right in the first few like chapters of the book. They're pretty much putting Auren as a bolo out for her. Yeah. They want her, and then on top of that, we're trying to pretty much see what's going to happen between Slade and Auren, and is Auren going to recover? How is Slade going to handle, dealing with rotting his love? So that's all going on through this book, and pretty much I think that's pretty much the whole gist of this book.
Yeah, and also,
it's a slower book, but it's a good book.
And also, there's another romance that sort of blooms on the sideline.
It is wonderful.
Yeah, it is great. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Like Kristen said, it is a little slow in the fact that the plot is pretty much like that. Yeah. It's just them deciding what they're going to do about being summoned to answer for their crimes, quote unquote, and then sort of the journey to it happening.
And also, I think there's a little story of Melina too.
Yes,
Queen Melina, which I can't remember exactly her story, but I think it has to do with the assassin. Because now does she have? What is she doing right in this world right now? I don't remember in this book. Something's happening with her.
She is at 7th.
So she's at 7th right now. Is she?
She is making deals with some twins.
Okay.
She's making some deals with some people that she met at 7.
Okay, cool. So that's where we're at with her. Her story's a little slow too in this book.
Yeah.
But yeah, Slade's army is moving from the 4th because all that shit went down. Now he's got to get them out of there. Mm-hmm. And I think Oz is the one having the army move.
Yes.
So he's there, and Risa and what's her name? The other girl that was friends with. I fucking know. Polly Pocket?
It is Polly. Yes.
I don't remember. I gotta give these girls different names.
I hate that one.
I can't stand her. But yeah, so those girls made a deal with Auren to try and all leave together.
Yeah.
So something's happening with them as well. So that's another POV that you're gonna get in there. So it's pretty good. It's a little like, just no crazy wars or anything like that. So if it's kind of like, I don't know, I would say a mellow type of book.
It is a mellow.
It gives you kind of, I got kind of anxiety here and there, but also just so you know, like you're learning more of Slade's background.
Yes.
Which is a very good story.
That is something to know. This is, we learned, essentially does the same thing that we did with Auren in book 3, where we go sort of to the past every couple chapters and learn about their backstory. That's what he does with Slade. Slade's backstory is great.
Yeah, so like, be ready for that. You're also going to get a little bit more of Auren's backstory, but not quite, maybe, I think it is.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, but not quite as much as Slade. Slade is pretty thorough in this one. I think you find out the whole story of Slade's POV. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Yeah.
That's a summary.
That's the summary. Yeah, so not very high with the action and drama, but a lot with the content of each of the characters and sort of some setting up for what's going to happen next book.
I want to say this book has a lot more sexual, explicit stuff. I think this one has one of the most sexual, explicit stuff out of all the books. So be ready for that.
Be ready for that. If you're a fan, if you're not a fan, I'm sure we'll get into that.
Yeah, we'll get into that. More so in our spoiler part, but we'll kind of dabble in it in our overall ratings. Yeah. You ready for those?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to go first?
Sure. I gave this one a 4 out of 5. I did genuinely like this book. We already kind of talked about it with the summary, but I like the fact that the first thought about what's going on is that she could take magic away, and that she's taken what's his name? Midas's magic. Yeah. I like that that's the thing because it really sets the stage for the events that follow that also seem really authentic. Like, it's easy to be in Kayla's position and rally all of the other kings around, like, she killed them, she might be able to steal your own power, like, let's rally together, and that seemed really authentic to me, so I like that. I love Slade's backstory. It's so sad, but that also feels very authentic.
Yes, agreed.
And I won't get into too many details about that now, but it felt real. The other relationship that blooms is, I love it. I love these two characters, and I love their personalities because they don't feel like a rehashing of Slade and Auren. Like, they feel like unique characters. It's also interesting to watch Auren deal with all of the trauma, because now this is sort of the first time that she's out of what happened with Midas. Because if we think back...
Dead.
Yeah, and at 4, she learned a lot of things about who he actually was. Then not only did he drug her, not only did he chop off her ribbons, but then he, all of the stuff that culminated at 4, she's now finally out of that. He's dead, but she still has to process through all this drama, and she does it in a way that feels authentic, because it's not just like, okay, I'm done, I'm just going to take a moment to process it. Like, she really doesn't want to process it, is essentially how she handles it, and that feels real. I like that. So I also do love that there are actual repercussions to her murdering the king. Like, that's obviously what this book is, and so I like that we didn't just gloss over that. It wasn't just like, oh well, Midas has her now, so she must be okay. Like, there's real consequences for what she did. Now she has to come and face that, and it gets pretty explosive towards the end of the book, and that is just...
Yes, major cliffhanger on this book too. You're gonna want to go to the next book, so be ready for that as well. I mean, this is with all the books so far, but this one I think is one of the major cliffhangers out of all of the books. This is
the one that cliffhanged me.
Yeah. We both left out because we had to wait till the next book came out.
Yes,
I wanted to kill everything.
This is where I stopped. I was like, I can't do any more of these cliffhangers, Raven. I'm just gonna stop here till you're done.
This is where I continued. I was like, I got to know,
because this scene was good. This was a good scene at the end.
This end cap scene. Oh my god. Fucking wonderful. But don't want to just spoil it for you, so.
And so 4 to 5 for the main one. For spice, it is spicy, so I'll give it a 3. For me personally, it's icy. It's so fucking crazy. It is like a male gaze porno.
Yes.
Is how it feels. This is how he's talking the entire time, and I cringe internally with every scene. Nothing makes it better. She
did a really good job, though, making it in the male gaze. Like,
I don't want it in the male gaze.
I don't either.
Because even when I'm an Auren, I'm like, why am I watching a porn? Are these just porn stars? It's so bad.
It's pretty crazy. Oh my god.
But anyways, that's my...
So yeah, I agree with everything you said. I just like to add little things to it. Auren's trauma in this book is so realistic. It takes her time, and usually I can't stand people wallowing. Like, when I'm reading books, I don't want to listen to people's wallowing to the point where they are self-destructive. Like, Auren isn't self-destructive wallowing. She puts it in a different type of perspective when you're reading it. You're going through her trauma with her, but you're not feeling like it's I don't know. You don't feel like it's making the story only about that. She's still looking at all these aspects. The only thing that all these aspects of how it's affecting other people, and because some people just when you're reading books about people with trauma, they don't care about the other people and how they're treating them. She's still really cool with the group of people that she's hanging out with. She's still very, I don't know, self-aware that she's going through trauma, but she's not the only one. Also, I kind of get irritated by Slade about some things because she doesn't know exactly everything that's going on for the most part. Slade kind of does hide things from her to protect her, which I don't like when people do that. They hide things to protect you. I don't like that. But
he sort of makes decisions.
Yeah, and it's come on, man, don't take things away from her. She's been. I don't want to get into spoilers about that, but but he redeems himself pretty quickly.
I agree with you. I think it's annoying that I don't like it, but also it's almost justifiable in the sense that she's going through so much trauma. It's not a time for her to be making these types of decisions or to be bombarded with what's about to happen.
Yeah.
So it's you agree to a certain extent, but also like you don't like it.
Exactly. That's exactly. I was torn by it. I completely understand. And would I have done the same if I were Slade? Probably.
Yeah.
But I think I would have told her like, hey, there's some news, and I don't know if you're ready to hear it. You let me know if you're ready to hear it. Like, I don't know how I would handle it, but I don't think I would just, hey, you gotta listen to this. Like, I don't think I would have done that either.
Or no, we're not doing this. You're not doing this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He was very respectful. I just the whole hiding it from her kind of, I don't like secrets in a relationship type thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that bothered me, but he did redeem himself, but like he didn't really hide it. But you get to meet some people too, because where Slade takes her, obviously, you know, he takes her and he removes her somewhere. He's not going to take her to his kingdom because, you know, it's obvious. So he puts her somewhere safe, and it is such a sweet thing for him to have done. And I love that the wrath, I keep saying wrath, I think is it Wraith?
I think it's Wrath.
His wrath joined him there, and it is so funny. There's like a few, they're super authentic. Like Crystal was saying, it's not like these relationships feel like they're like similar to how Slade and Auren are. They all have their personalities, they all have their, it's just they really are separate people in this book. So like, there's one part, I'm gonna give a kind of a little spoiler, but what's her name? I forget her name. Lou? She has these fluffy big slippers.
They're like bunny slippers?
Yeah, something like that. And she goes with like, so she's like, this is the only place that she feels comfortable in. So she's entirely herself, and she's like walking around these big fluffy slippers. Oh, it's so funny. But yeah, they're so great.
It is nice to see their personality shine through a little bit here. Because you're
Yeah.
spending so much time with them.
Exactly. There is a lot of downtime in this book of them all getting to like hang out. And that's beautiful. I love that. So I'm going to go into spice in this. I also gave it a 3. Slade's got a fucking dirty mouth.
It's too much.
He needs a fucking Orbit's gum.
Yeah.
He's like, dirty mouth, man. Holy cow. I prefer the tension over the spice of this book.
Yeah.
And not even coming from Slade and Auren. I prefer it from the other love interest.
Yeah.
That's where the tension I appreciated came from.
Yes.
So, and their tension was just beautiful.
Same. Yeah,
So,
I like that too.
yeah.
I just Slade hits it everywhere else when he's out and about, when he's talking, when he's saying his banter is great everywhere but the fucking bedroom.
Yes, the bedroom talk is the fucking worst. The fucking worst.
I hate it. It's such a letdown too.
Yeah, because I'm in love with him. I love Slade. He is one of my top 5 book boyfriends, and I just like, I have to ignore that he's bad in the bedroom. Not in like the sense of doing it.
His skill. It's his fucking mouth.
Shut up, dude. Shut up. Shut up.
Just use one of those lines. One time, you get like, you just take a jar, pull out the line you want to use, and that's the only line that you could use the entire time.
I can't with him. I can't. Like, he's all his dirty talk the first time. Like, he does no more. He has no more reserves for me. Like, I'm done. I'm done.
I hate it so much.
Stop talking, dude. Slade.
And to be fair, we've read these books, like you said, 2 or 3 times, and it doesn't ever get, but like, it is cemented in the fact that I fucking hate his bedroom talk.
I hate his bedroom
It's
talk.
not like, oh, maybe I was just young in the beginning. No, I've hated it all.
Young in the beginning. It was like last year.
I was young back then. I was naive. I was like beginning my romantic journey. Maybe I didn't know any better, but no.
No.
Anyways, so I'll do some Goodreads. Goodreads gave it a 4.15, so we're right on board. That's with 88,000 reviews.
That's a lot of reviewers.
Yeah. Of course, like always, we're gonna talk about the 1-star reviews. I picked some
I love
good
the
ones.
1-star reviews. I just want to throw it out there. Like, obviously, we're not going to have all the same taste, and that's fine. That's wonderful. So we're not bashing the fact that you don't like the book. We just kind of want to take it and see if it's a fair judgment.
Yes.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
do we really agree with you that is what we read in the book? But
And I think sometimes we're like, because there are some things, like if you're going to sit here and talk about his bedroom talk and how it's cringy, I'm be like, yeah, you're fucking right.
yeah.
I almost would get, like, if there was any more bedroom talk, I would have to deduct a star.
I would have kept going. But, like, I would have been like, why? The whole time.
It's so bad. But yeah, like Kristen said, it's just here to sort of get that other perspective that we could be missing if we're over here gloating about a book.
Yeah, for sure.
So Liz Does Book says, DNF, I'm sorry. I tried, but I don't have the strength to slog through this for 705 pages. Terrible, cringe-inducing writing, no plot inside, repetitive melodrama just to pad pages. It's a no for me. Sarah Reader says, where should I start? The first 600, 700 pages can simply have been left out. Nothing happens. Many say the book focuses on character development. Which one? Neither Auren nor Slade develops, nor does their relationship. That everyone is worried about Auren is so inauthentic because there is zero relationship building described. And finally, Dixie says, I don't usually leave reviews, but this one needed it. Does anyone else see that Raven Kennedy is literally copying ACOTAR in so many ways? I tried to get over all of the similarities, but the secret city tucked away in a mountain really did it for me. Should have just called it Valeris. I won't be reading the rest of the series. Come up with new material. Boring. Also, before we comment on it, I will just say that there was a good amount of reviews hating on the spice, so we're not crazy.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people that were saying
that's spice.
that it was for the male gaze and it was too porn like.
Yeah, that's very, 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 very true.
So what I will say to these is that, like we already said, the book is slow. There's not a whole lot of, there's not a war that happens. There's not a huge thing that happens for all of the pages except for maybe the last 75.
And so, I mean, to agree with them, yeah, like, they're not lying, but the only thing I would disagree on is the development. Mm-hmm. I think there is, maybe not as much as people would like, but there is. Auren's, without trying to give spoilers away, she's trying to figure out what the fuck happened. Like, there's a lot going on. Not only does she have to figure out her powers, the gold beast that she is now associating herself with, as well as having to deal with the trauma that she's gone through. She's got these huge ass gashes in the back of her. How much can you possibly do? Mm-hmm. She has to recover. And I mean, if we're talking about authenticity, wouldn't it make sense that she can't do anything till she recovers? Mm-hmm. So aren't you going to be sitting? I mean, unless you want to cut and make a time jump, that's not going to really happen. Because then in my opinion, if you're going to go from recovery and having to deal with the repercussions of what you did, there's going to be a lot of things that are kind of put in there, and you can't just time jump that.
And that would seem inauthentic.
Yeah, because now you're missing all the things. It's okay, well, what happened? The one thing I don't like about a lot of stories is when the FMC or MMC has these powers and they don't really know how to control them, and then all of a sudden they're just wielding these powers they're the greatest person to ever wield these powers before.
Kingdom of Legend.
Right? I fucking hated that. It's I feel that's very inauthentic to me. I feel it's more authentic to actually go through the motions of all the trauma and having to learn how to wield your powers and just experiencing, that whole thing. I mean, we don't even have to have a long, lengthy story about it. Maybe that's why people aren't liking it, because it is lengthy. But she's not just dealing with taking care of her powers and her trauma. She's also dealing with the repercussions of everything that's happened. Yes. And she's also dealing with a lot of other people that she's around. Mm-hmm. And she's learning a lot about Slade in the meantime. Yes. Because where she's located is a very important place for Slade and what's his brother's name? Riot. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think that's I think it is pretty, I don't know, unfair to say that it's not
no character. Yeah, I agree. And also on that, to say there's no relationship development. I mean, they're developing in there. This is the first time they've actually been able to be in a relationship, because before this it was underground, hidden, secret talks here and there in the library, on the balcony, and that was it. So them actually coming together and him working to help her through this trauma was a relationship building, and I think it did. It wasn't a whole lot. It's not like they're fully fixed and married at the end of this. They're working through it at a pace, again, I think feels authentic. And if we were just to scrub this all out of the book, again, we would be looking at, so all this trauma happened to her.
And now she's fine?
Now she's fine. Yeah. Now they're great.
Doesn't make any sense.
And we get a lot of time in this book to learn about Slade's life. So in a way, that's a character development. I mean, we're learning who he is, where he came from, why he's here. about his mom, about his dad, about his brother. So I also agree. I think that's an inaccurate description. You could just say the book was boring for 400 pages. I think that's fine. That's a fine criticism.
I think that's fair to say, especially if you're not willing to read about the downtime they're having. Like, it's fair, because like there's times where if I'm not really into these characters or what they're doing, I would have found that this would have been, because it is slow.
Yeah.
So I do agree with that. I just feel like, in my opinion, the slowness of it makes sense to the story.
Yeah, it's not slow. It's not pointlessly slow.
No, it's not. And I enjoyed reading the slow part of these books. Like, there's some books, I can't remember some of them, but like, for instance, Blood and Ash. The slow parts in that book, okay, I love that series. I love that series. But the slow parts in that book were so slow, and I love that series. I really enjoy it. I know a lot of people are comparing ACOTAR to these books.
Yeah, someone see that.
I don't. I see a lot of reminiscent of From Blood and Ash in this book.
Yeah.
Because there's a part in From Blood and Ash where he takes her and he hides her so she could recover.
Mm-hmm.
And a place where Castile is like close to his heart, and that's pretty much what Slade did.
I think also that we've said this before, and we'll just say it again. We've both read ACOTAR. We read ACOTAR before we read this, and I still just don't see it.
I don't either.
I don't know if this is people who are sort of new to this genre, but as you already pointed out, like there's layerings in all of these books. They all are going to do this, right? They're going to have lots of them have the fake pretend this is the real love, ends up being another love. They're all gonna have these, we take her to a secret place to get her healed. I guess not all of them are gonna have it, but my point is that these aren't unique situations that are going on. These are in a lot of books.
No.
And I don't, other than the very beginning where you've got like the blonde love interest and then it turns into the evil love interest. That's literally the only overlay that I see. Even connecting this to Valeris to me didn't seem the same, because Valeris is an entire, like, I guess it's in the sense that like it's an entire town, but like Valeris felt way bigger. This is smaller, and then when you learn the storyline, it's different.
Yeah.
So if you're just taking it as a skeleton of yes, it's a hidden town somewhere, sure, but the actual meat and bones of it is totally different, and so that's why I never connected these two.
I didn't either. I felt like the depth of this reasoning for where this place is and what this place is about and what this place symbolizes is not the same to the ACOTAR.
And even why it's there.
Yeah.
Like, all of it is different. And so all of that to say, I keep bringing these ones in here because people keep saying them, and it seems to be a pretty big critique that this is too much like ACOTAR. And I just want to bring it up and slam it down every time that, again, as two people who read ACOTAR, we just don't agree with that. And then the final thing I wanted to say was a touch on what Kristen said, that even though this book is slow, I feel like the slowness is definitely always moving forward. Things are moving, the pace is always an incline in the storyline of what's happening. So even though Auren's trauma is slow, we're still going somewhere with it. Like she's still developing as a character, so we're seeing her character development. And even though we're walking through the wilderness with two other characters, there's still character development that's happening there. So yeah, slow, but slow with purpose, and slow always like moving the story forward, never slowing it down or stagnating it. And I think that's different.
Yeah, I think it is too, and I think it's needed. I mean,
I also agree.
Yeah.
So anyways, we love your 1-star reviews.
We do.
They make us think.
And they actually, give us that other side to it. And it's always nice to see other people's, opinion on, things that we love. It's good to see that, that contradicting opinion.
Yeah, I like it. But overall, I think we were pretty in line with most people.
Yeah.
They gave it higher than we did.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's a solid 4. I don't think it's anything higher than that.
I agree. Yeah, I think it was
due to the slowness. Because
it is slow, but it's not like
it's
boring
not bad slow.
Yeah.
It's just there's not a lot of happening. So like, for me, it would be like, is it a book I would reread? Probably not. But is it a book that I need for the story? Yes, definitely.
Yes, and at the end of the day, like, I think it's a good follow-up from book 3, which was, in my opinion, the pinnacle of all of the books so far. That was the best. And so the fact that this was still good enough, because I feel like, at least for me personally, sometimes books fall off after the third. Like, I don't. If your story's not good, I don't really care, and I'm usually out of it by this time. But this was interesting enough to keep
It's that ending.
Oh my god, it is the ending.
That ending is what made me give it a fucking 4 stars.
100%.
Truthfully told, the book was going at a solid 3 most of the way, and then of course that love interest gave it a 3.5. The new love interest, and then that ending gave it. I would have given it a 4.5, but I felt it was not that good overall. But like because of that ending is what made me be like, yes,
Same.
I definitely believe this is a 4. Oh, that ending.
So on that,
It ripped my heart out, I have to say.
well, on that, we can go into our spoilers. So Kristen, best
Oh my
parts?
god. Okay, so now that I kind of remember this, I'm gonna go into. I'm gonna shorten this. I'm not gonna say every detail on this, but the love interest between Oz and Risa is just fantastic. How they met when she's
I
like,
love her.
"Who the fuck are you?"
Who the fuck are you?
Yeah, and they're just like looking at each other. It's like, I could not wait for them to meet. Like, even if I didn't expect them to be love interest, I was so excited. The minute I heard, like, well, I should say, the minute Oz was told that there's 2 girls acting a fool in the camp and he had to go and take care of them, I was like, that's already Risa. I cannot wait for this hunk of a man to go meet her. And then when she's just like telling him, like, this is like throughout the time of that meeting, she's telling him that she doesn't like him, and he's like, oh, it's always better with a little loathing. I'm like, oh my god.
I love him constantly flirting with her. Every time she's like, I'm like you. Do you have table manners? And he's like,
calling him a hairy beast and shit.
Fucking love them. Those two together.
Yes, they are great. They are the authentic part of this book. I love it. I love it. And I would like to also say that she kisses him. When she kisses him in that fucking, like, she wasn't expecting it, she didn't want to, but she did it anyways, and it's like, he's like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. And she's like, just that was a mistake. That was a mistake.
And he's like, oh, if you ever need more mistakes, you know where to find me? I was like, this guy.
Yeah, I like him.
They're like, those parts were so short and sweet, but they were perfection. Of gold. They were gold. They were gold.
I agree. I think I like Risa's personality with him. Just straight up, doesn't give a fuck. Says it. There's even a part. Sorry, I'm gonna jump on here.
No, go ahead.
There's even a part after that when he's like, when she's trying to sleep with him. She's like, maybe we should make mistakes, and he's like, what? She's like, I want to fuck. Okay, I just want to fuck. Let's get this over with. And then he turns her down.
Yes, he does, because he's like, no, you are not gonna do this. You're gonna want to do this. And she's like, whoa, what the fuck? No one turns me down.
Yeah, I love her. I love him. Yeah.
And he was like, he was pretty much like, why the fuck did I turn on this stupid?
Let me go find her. Hold on. I love it.
Oh, it's so great.
Hands down, one of the best parts of this book, for sure.
I cannot remember why I put this in here, but I'm reading it and I'm hoping you can remind me. But I put in here the part when Auren finally wakes up and Slade realizes Auren wants to fight, so like they're having that whole fight scene.
Oh, but it's a fight.
Fuck scene.
Yeah.
And I like really like that for some reason. I put in there that it's like it's her dual nature, and he's just telling her something like that she's gorgeous when she's unhinged, and then she just starts attacking him sexually. I don't know why I like that, but apparently I do.
It is a good part.
Is it a good part?
I think it's a good part.
Okay, I can't remember, but apparently that's a great part of mine. I can't remember.
So good she forgot.
Yeah. And then I even put in here she attacks him in a different way. Wink, wink. I put that in here.
Kristen from a month ago was really into it.
I know. I'm like, I don't remember this, but I'm gonna trust my judgment on that. Okay, there's another part that I apparently really love, but I do remember this one. This is more memorable than the sex scene, apparently. But Auren tries to cook for the rat.
Oh my god, yes.
And then she does a shit fucking job. And the reason why she's trying to cook is so she can just like forget about her troubles. And she doesn't know how to cook, so she just goes to the kitchen and starts cooking. And she makes shit that mixes with cinnamon. I think she like puts cinnamon and rice.
And it's like peas and rice.
Yeah, it's like it comes out all gushy and pudding like. And so everybody's trying to eat this. And then she's like, you don't have to eat it. It's disgusting. And they're like, oh, I have to eat it.
Yeah, they're all pretending like, yeah, this is great. All right.
Like it's like eggs and random ass spices with rice. Oh my god, yes, I love that part. I also love the part where she tries to train with Slade. I don't remember what I wrote in here. I'm just gonna jump on. she starts training with Slade and her powers, and he was just like, "Oh, Goldfinch, I never thought you'd ask about training." I don't remember that part. But apparently I love it. So,
all right.
But no, I do recall liking that Slade is trying to teach Auren how to just use her powers, and like he's always using them as a way to get close to her and touch her. So like all that sexual tension ends up in a lot of their training. So that's pretty good. I want to say most of that comes into with him telling her that, because she was like, "No, you're a good person, Slade, for doing everything you do for me," and you know, he's like, "I'm not a good person. I'm only good for you. I'm every bit of a villain that I warned you I was," and like she just doesn't want to listen that he's a villain. But he is, and that is.
And boy, does he show it!
That's foreshadowing, by the way, because the next book that's very important because he is a motherfucking villain, and that's what I love about him. So like all this time when he's like doting on her and taking care of her, and he's trying to pretty much tell her like, "I'm only good for you. I only have this little inkling of good for." He's been telling her this whole time,
and everybody knows his reputation.
Yeah,
like he has a reputation within the kingdom, and for a reason.
You learn his reputation and what it's about, because you learn like that goes into what I'm about to say next. Like you learn his past. And in this book, his past is so heartbreaking. You find out about his mom being there and all that stuff. Like the whole history of them, and like how his dad was a piece of shit, which also is foreshadowing. It's just such a great backstory, and it makes sense for everything except for his name being called Rip. I still fucking hate that.
My god,
you can't make me
or Slade.
Yeah,
that's also bad.
So. This is the infamous carriage scene that you fucking hate. So I hate the carriage scene as a whole, but I love the beginning.
Yeah, the conversation before is good.
Yeah, like I love everything right because I think there's a fight right before. I think that's why they're at the carriage scene, right? There's like a fight right at the carriage.
I don't.
Or no, there's not a fight. He's taking her through something.
Yeah, I think they went out. So they went out to the city, and then everybody was sort of whispering about her.
Right. Yeah,
and she was getting insecure because they were like, "Oh, now she's coming to steal our king," and blah blah blah.
And he tells her to like, "Don't fucking pay attention to them. Pay attention to me." And like he's trying to get her to fucking like stop with the nonsense.
But of course she's internally spiraling now.
Yeah. So like he tells her like I'm not trying to, because it was like she was saying something like along the lines of, "Did I jump from one king to the next?" That's what the story is. And I love that whole interaction because she's like really questioning it. Do I really want to be with you? I just went from one king to the next. Maybe they're right. And he's telling her, he's like, "No, you fucking told me you wanted to be with me.
You claimed me.
Yeah, you claimed me in front of everybody. You are not with me." And and he's like, "And I want you to understand, it's not because I want to control you. It's not because I want to own you. It's because I love you and I want this for you, and every bit of your pleasure is my pleasure. I'm going to give it to you whether you want it to be with somebody else. I'm still going to be there." So it's like, which
she even says, she's like, "Well, what if I want to screw somebody else?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "All right, I guess we're gonna screw somebody else."
Yeah, and so I love the fact that he's supportive in a manner that's not like, because like I said before, a lot of what Slade used to say gave me the ick because I was just like, "Oh my god, that's giving me PTSD from Midas's shit." But like he tells her in this moment, even though it kind of turns into like a fucking pornographic fucking scene, he tells her though that his way of wanting her is the complete opposite of Midas. Even though he's saying these things, it's the right words with the right person this time.
Yes.
So they're meaningful, and he explains what he meant by saying these things. And of course, it gets her hot and bothered, and she gets into it. So. I mean,
and it goes downhill like that.
And it starts to become very graphic, and like, I mean, I like what he does with her, but like, I hate the way he talks to her. It's just the dirty talk,
the cringy dirty talk.
Yeah, that's it. It's just the dirty talk, but everything around it, what they're doing, is fucking fantastic. Do we have to? And also, gold is lube.
Yeah,
because that was the scene.
Yeah,
She used her gold as lube.
I mean, she can control it too. So
now she can and all that. See, that's why you need that. That's why you need that character development to see how she used her gold. Because like now she can...
using it, she is.
I mean, interesting. I don't know if I would trust that as a guy. I would trust that as a girl.
Yeah, same.
I don't know about that, but yeah.
All right.
Gold is lube, and I even put in there, okay, gold is lube. LOL. So there was another scene that I liked but disliked, that Slade sexually teasing Auren was like really, really brutal. There was a point where he didn't want to like tell her what was going on and stuff like that, so like he used sex as a way to like
tire her out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, that's awesome, but shitty.
Yeah. I mean, it's really funny. It's really cool. But,
yeah. Like, and then the very, very, very last part that I enjoyed was the ending. We like. Yeah. That fucking ending was the greatest. Woo! The travel that Slade had to undergo to get there. Argo, like, my favorite fucking, like, flying pet. Like, I was so sad for that, but then when he made his entrance into the compound.
Hot damn! Hot damn!
Can we just bow down to this beautiful specimen of a fucking villain of a man? Like,
I have never seen something so villainous. Next to Draco Malfoy.
The stride, it gave me Draco vibes.
It did?
The stride in when they were like making eye contact, when he was like,
no question. This man just steps off of his thing, walks, and people are dying. Everywhere. No question. The earth is fucking rumbling.
Yeah, and he's just walking straight to his woman with so much fucking just
killing everybody, melting everybody and rot. Like, whew. Yeah, it was a beautiful
What
sight.
does she say? He is the epitome of death and revenge, the personification of rage.
He destroys everything and everyone in his vicinity without a glance or thought. And through the chaos, through the massacre, I revel in it. I also was reveling in this. Auren, I was like, fuck your man's hot. Holy shit.
Oh my god. Also, I'd like to throw in, before this part even existed and happened, how Oz got upset about Risa getting murdered. Or
that was my favorite part.
Oh my god, she's dying!
And nobody fucking knows why. It was a really sad part, but also everyone's like, what?
Did he miss something?
What the fuck? Why is he freaking out right now?
Does he even know her? But yes, that ending was the greatest. Like, that. I can't.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I felt like reading that whole book just to get to that part was extremely worth it. If I could rate the book just on that part, I would have gave it 11 stars.
Yeah. That ending was glorious.
Yes.
To see him finally, like, because again, like you had said, he'd been sweet and sort of loving and doting on her, protective of her.
Yes.
Oh, and then to just see that villain protection come out was just perfect, and it was done.
And he finally ripped the universe apart again, so she could.
Because he couldn't save her.
Yeah. And now she's off into, was it? I don't know. I'm gonna say a place that probably is not in part of this book.
Anwin.
I was gonna say Elwyn, Anwin, all the other books that
Arendelle.
Rivendell, like.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anwin, yeah. So now now they're separated at the end of this book, and God. Luckily for you guys, you could read the next book.
Yeah, do it.
We did not. We had to wait, but we read it now. But like at the time,
it was bad.
Yeah, I was at work when I read this, and I was just so mad at myself. I was like, no!
And especially thinking, I think we both thought this was the end of the book. So it was like, what?
This can't be the end of the book. Wow. We did. We thought this was the last book.
Were those all your favorite parts?
Yes, those are all my favorite parts.
All right, I will piggyback off your last one a little bit and add just a little bit to it. So he gets there, he's freaking out. And right before he goes to Auren to rip the hole, he is coming at the royals.
Yeah.
This whole scene, he's like, I just imagine him like a wild beast just stalking in front of them, because now they've got a kid that's put up a barrier, and he is like, you better put down this barrier.
Yeah.
You got like a minute to put down this barrier before I fucking kill everybody.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kill all of your fucking kingdoms.
Yeah.
Auren's gonna burn. Or that's what Aurea?
Yeah.
Auren? I forget what the name. This whole world's gonna burn if you don't put down this barrier right now and let her go. And I think you had one king in there that was like,
just do it.
Just put it down. Did you hear? He's gonna fucking kill us.
Yeah, he was the only smart one.
He basically says to them too that basically like, you can wait behind that barrier, but I'll wait longer, and then I'm going to fucking curdle your skin and wither your bones. He's gonna decay you slowly from the inside out, and then he will destroy every last person in your kingdoms. And he will not rest until all of Aurea crumbles out of existence.
Yes, I love him.
Fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
And then
worth putting up with the fucking shitty bedroom talk.
Oh yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, how are you so great outside of the bedroom?
You say all these wonderful demented things, but then when it's time to be very sexual, like
bringing that same energy, you're bringing some wacko energy.
Like, what's the point? what's going on, dude? Like, what happened to your vocabulary?
I know.
You were exquisite before.
Frat boy.
Yeah.
So also before the conflux, Auren is getting like scrubbed down, which is now giving me Manacle vibes.
Yeah.
By the Second Kingdom fucking religious fanatic people.
Yeah, I fucking hate them.
But one of the things that happens is the one of the ladies that's scrubbing her down says that Temperance is going to save her. And Auren replies that I'll save myself, or King Rot did. Did you forget about him? Because when he gets here, not even your gods will save you. And girl, right was she?
Yes. Oh my god.
I love her.
To have that kind of faith in the man you're with, ooh-wee.
Though it was tested, because she was like, why isn't he? Where the fuck is he? Where he was supposed to be here 5 minutes ago, he still ain't here.
Yeah.
I love though that we get to the point where she is like she got stabbed before he finally makes it there. So you're even questioning like, is he gonna fucking? Where are you, Slade?
Yeah. Because he's going through the thing of he feels like he's failing her again because this is the second time.
Yes.
Because the first time was, of course, when she was with Midas and her things were being cut off and. Yeah, so like now he's feeling it this time. He's going to get there.
Yeah,
like the good thing about this is like you're seeing his POV as well as this, as this is happening. So you know he's trying to get there.
Yeah.
But it's like you're worried because like is he really going to get there? Because he is suffering through things to get there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So when he finally gets there, she wouldn't even have known that he was suffering. Like he was at the verge of like. Not possibly getting there because Argo was at the goddamn ground, like, and he's like, "How do I get there?" Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's like it was that moment where you're like, "Is he really going to get there?"
Yep.
But he got there.
He got there. He made the entrance of the century.
Yeah.
It is almost a manacled entrance, like when Draco comes on the field.
Mm-hmm. That's Hermione.
Yep. Mm-hmm. This is like the same energy that they're bringing here.
Oh, I was loving it.
Yep. So a lot of mine seem to be your same ones. I will say though that the final one is kind of piggybacking again off what you just said, that there's a moment when Auren and Slade are talking about the moment that he feels like he left her there, that he wasn't there to protect her. And I like that she says, like she kind of calls him on it, like, yeah, where were you?
Yeah.
You're supposed to be saving me, but then also acknowledges in the same breath that like I'm almost glad that you weren't there because I needed this in order to unleash the beast, because all of the things up until that point hadn't quite done it for her, but not being rescued by him and then having to endure that last kind of like thing, the ribbons and then the drugging, like having to endure that really sort of set the stage for it. And if he would have come and saved her, then we would have never met this new, crazier, powerful Auren. So I like that she acknowledges that with him. Yeah, most of my favorite ones were also your favorite ones. So all around. Okay. These are great.
Yeah.
But I do not have any. Do I have any worst parts?
I don't have any hated parts either. It's mostly the thing that we've been just discussing, that Slade, Rot, doesn't know how to talk in the bedroom.
Yeah, that's always going to be hated.
Yeah, that's just it. But
I have a small list of things to discuss.
Okay, yeah, I think I do too.
So one thing that I did want to just touch on a little bit, I really enjoyed seeing from Queen Melina's point of view exactly how Midas was able to manipulate her and grab her in the exact same way that he did with Auren. He whispered the sweet romantic things to her, said pretty much the same things.
Yeah.
Like, I love you, you're so beautiful,
yeah.
I want to be with you now. And obviously he was manipulating her because he just needed a reason to get a throne so that he could become king. So it was a nice way of humanizing her, even though I hate the bitch. Still 4 books in, I'm still not a fan.
Yeah, I was not a fan of her in either, in any of these books so far.
Yeah. So it was nice to see this, because I think this is from her point of view that we learn it, because she's rethinking about the situation and revisiting these thoughts. So, it was a nice little touch to be like, oh, well, she's also a victim of his manipulation, so maybe it could be a little bit nicer in your judgment to her, even though I still think she's an entitled bitch.
Definitely so.
But it was nice to see that. But also, because she's kind of in this, but not a whole lot, but she's like doing some random shit down in 7th Kingdom with some... Yeah. I mean, we know because this is a spoiler section, obviously she's trying to get her powers to be this kingdom, and she makes a deal with those twins. and it ends up not being an actual deal.
No, they end up betraying her, and she does get her powers, but they end up betraying her, and the whole reason to do that was so that the kingdom is now open. So
The bridge is now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you find out that Rip opens one portal and then closes it for Auren to go through at the complex, and at the same time this is happening, Queen Melina opens the bridge to Lemuria, the Lemuria Bridge. So now all these Fae are coming through, and they're trying to pretty much kill everybody in Oria and claim the throne there for their Orion king, Oreo king. So yeah, so that is part of the ending, and it's crazy. It's crazy. That ending is fucking insane. Yeah, one of the other things I'd like to discuss in here too is we kind of already mentioned it before, where Auren's saying something along the lines of questioning Slade, why weren't you there when my ribbons were being ripped off? What happened to you? You know, and he pretty much, you find out what he was doing during that time.
Yes.
That Riot was being held captive because they believed that he was the one Auren was fucking around with.
Yes.
So they were trying to go get him and take care of him, and at this time, like, Auren, like, he kind of was keeping tabs on her, but, like, he did not think that Midas was going to do anything to her. Because he believed that Midas really needed her. Which he does, but he just found a way of keeping her. So, like, you find out about that. This, in my opinion, this is the book of backstories and POV progression. Like, when I say POV progression, I mean, like, it's their story and what they're doing and on their own. It doesn't really have anything to do with Auren, per se, even though she's the main character, female main character. Like, you're still finding that Slade has his own shit to do.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of times in books, like, the main character is like, oh, he's off doing something, but you don't really know what he's doing. Like, this book, Slade, you are finding out that Slade has a whole lot of other shit. He is a king. Like, you do see that he's got other shit to do. So, yeah, he's worried about Auren and stuff like that, but, like, at the same time, Auren wanted to be there. And even though she did choose him at that moment in time, they were still trying to do this subtly.
Yeah, and because he, like you said, he is still a king, and not only is he a king, but he's now in Fourth Kingdom, having to politic with Midas.
Yeah, and secure this landmass that he's been trying to protect, which are his people from Oria. You find that out. So, like, he's trying to manipulate a king who's also very manipulative, and still make sure his woman is safe, who is also playing the game of trying to find her long-lost soldier daddy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes, yeah.
So, like,
it's a lot going on.
Yeah, so, like, he is trying to do what he can, and he didn't expect that at all. No one did. So, but she tells him, it's not you that really failed me. I've been failing myself. So she figures that perspective out. Even though he can't stand to still hate, he still hates himself for not being there. But she tells him, like, it needed to happen. It needed to happen, which in a shitty way, yes, it did. But then you also learn of Auren's past with Zakir, the fucking piece of shit slave owner, and you find out what happened in Karnath. You find out the true reason why Auren is afraid of her powers. And that was very sad.
That was sad.
So sad.
And you can see now, again, the tendril of manipulation for Midas and how much more... understand why it was so much more effective for him to scare her into not using her powers, because she killed a whole lot of people.
And so now you understand why he kept saying you're not safe for other people around you. Even though you people are also attacking you, you can also kill people. So, like,
just by touch.
Yeah.
Just by for sleeping and losing control of your magic for a hot minute.
Yeah.
Like any you're dangerous.
Yeah.
You need to be locked up in a cage.
I mean, and if he's not allowing her to wield her powers and learn how to control them, of course she's going to be uncontrollably dangerous. And also, when Rot put his rot inside Auren, at the conflux, the worst fucking possible time for her to have gone through this, where they're accusing her of stealing King's powers, her power seeps through into the ground, because that's what the cage was doing. It also shows King Rot.
His black tendrils of rot in
because
her,
it wouldn't come out of her, which you find out later why that is the case. But yeah, there's rots coming out of her, and they're like, see, she really is stealing powers, and it's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Like, at that point, at the end, I was just like, this is ridiculous. I mean, I get where they're coming from, but oh my god, the worst. And she's like, I didn't do it, he put it in me. It's like,
and that's what's nice too, because that fear took root.
yeah.
And it felt authentic there, and then
Yeah.
just to see, like, I get where they're coming from.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I would be scared of that too. And
Two powers in one, like.
And yeah, she did
that?
murder a king, so
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, I mean,
It's very believable.
it is very believable.
But yeah, it's the worst time.
It was the worst time.
The worst.
But it's okay. It all came out good at the end for her. Well, kind of. I mean, she got saved.
Yeah.
She got to witness her man in all of his glory.
That was beautiful. That was
Yeah,
beautiful.
thank you, Auren, for the sacrifice of being in the cage for us to have witnessed that.
Yeah, because that was just wonderful.
Yeah, it was
The
great.
best. It was the best. Yeah, I can't even. I think about it a lot.
I do too. It's one of those scenes that like randomly will
Yeah.
pop in my head and I'm like, yeah, that was a good scene. that was good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was our full review of Glow.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna get these right.
Yeah.
Glow, which is obviously the fourth book. We will be reviewing the fifth book, which is Gold. Next week, cross your fingers. Next episode, we should start saying that. Next episode.
Yeah, we can't say
That way we don't commit to a week.
Yeah, we can't be liars every time. You guys will start being like, yeah, okay, bitches.
Yeah, all right. We'll see you next month. So next episode, we will see you guys back here for Gold. But yeah, this was a good one.
And it'll be Fridays we air them on now, so
Yes.
don't forget that.
And of course, we are on all of the socials.
Sort of? Like, we're there.
We're on it.
Yeah, we're like not present, but we try to be. I don't know.
We got plans.
We got plans on plans on plans.
Yeah, we'll be there one day, but just know that we're there.
Yeah.
We have a presence there. We're also on Amazon and Spotify, Amazon Music, Spotify,
Stuff like that.
all the stuff. We're there.
Yeah.
Come find us. Mostly here though.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us on this episode. We will see you next episode for Gold. Bye guys.